right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Josh, and thank you for tuning into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. I'll be joined by Andrew Fillipponi in a matter of moments over to 93.7 The Fan Cam, and there he is. Pony, what's going on? Hope you had a nice weekend. Have you been doing any mock drafts lately? I saw the latest one that ESPN put out. They have the Steelers taking Tyson from Arizona State, a receiver, injury-prone. Do you like the pick? Who do you think is going to follow them at one? The draft's only, what, a month and a half away? So that's one of the big topics.
Jordan Tyson, I think, would be a great pick. I think they need wide receiver help in a big way after what we watched the last couple of seasons here under Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin. It's been a, I think, weak spot on their team, probably the biggest of all, other than quarterback at times. So, absolutely, there's a lot of great wide receivers in this draft. They need bodies at that position. I think Jordan Tyson has had, obviously, injury concerns at Arizona State, but when he's played, he's been incredibly productive. I think he's got wide receiver one talent and ability. So if that's where he falls to the Steelers at 21 because of those injury questions, then I would look at it like they got a steal. Now, you know, he's going to fall to 21 because of the injuries. If he had been healthy at Arizona State, he would be a top 10, top 15 pick at worst. So that's one thing you're going to have to worry about with him right now. But if he stays healthy, then I think you've got a legitimate dude who I believe would be their number one wide receiver eventually, and DK Metcalf would become more of a number two for them in the long run.
I guess there's other options at wide receiver, too. I think they're going to go wide receiver. I mean, Lemon could potentially fall to the Steelers after hearing he didn't do well in interviews, and we saw him at the Combine in his interview to the media. I don't know how he did behind closed doors, but, you know, that's the rumor going around. I guess Boston and Concepcion are two other guys that might fall to the Steelers or maybe might be there in the second round if they decide to use that second pick for a receiver. But it all stems on a quarterback. We all think Aaron Rodgers is coming back, and, you know, there's been reports out there that we should know something by next week potentially, and we should, because that's when free agency and the legal tampering starts. But Kyler Murray is going to be available next week. So does that change your tune? Does that change your plan if you're the Steelers GM?
Well, I think it should. I mean, Russell Wilson wasn't on their radar until he got cut. And then they had a decision to make, and when it became widely known that he was going to play for the league minimum, he was a good enough quarterback at that point in his career where it was an unbelievable bargain to have him make pretty much no money, less than a lot of rookies in the NFL, to play quarterback. And that helped the Steelers build a roster around him. Now, again, it wasn't good enough in the end. They weren't able to win a playoff game, but it was, as far as the money goes, it was a very shrewd move on their part to at least try it. I would say the same thing about Murray, and Murray's a lot younger than Russell Wilson was at the time. He's still in his 20s. He's played for one of the worst organizations in all of pro sports. I think since they've moved to Arizona, they've won only like 6 playoff games since the 80s. They've been so bad, other than the year they lost to the Steelers in the Super Bowl. So I'm all for it at that price. $1.3 million for an athlete like Kyler Murray who can run it. He'd be other than Cordell Stewart, he'd be the best running quarterback in Steelers history. He's got an unreal arm. He could have played center field in the major leagues. And you get him in an organization where there's a lot more pressure to win, and he'd be doing it to try to get another contract eventually. So I'm in favor of it. I like that idea way more than I like Aaron Rodgers. And if it doesn't work, so what? You've only spent $1.3 million. Go draft your quarterback in 2027. Or if he stinks this year at $1.3 million, you bench him and you play Will Howard at some point. I think that's the way to go, Richie.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm going to ask you 2 questions here. The first part is, do you think the Steelers, you know, they're a loyal organization. Are they loyal to Rodgers? If he agreed verbally that I'm coming back, do they hold their end of the bargain, do you think?
Well, it's not a deal until there's a contract. So I would say back to Aaron Rodgers in that situation, if you wanted to come back and play here so badly and you gave us that word, like, why didn't we get the contract done as soon as the season ended? Why wasn't he signed in late January? Why wasn't he signed in all of February? Why isn't he signed right now? He can go back on his word. The Steelers are allowed to go back on their word. It's pro sports. That's why contracts exist. It's not a handshake deal to play football. There's a reason why contracts are out there, why there's agents that are paid millions of dollars to negotiate those things. So, no, I don't have any issue with that if they retract. Just like, I'd have no issue if Aaron Rodgers said, and this is what I think is going to happen right now, my gut tells me he's waiting till Monday just to see what else is out there. And I just think he wants to see if Minnesota calls. I think he also wants to see if there's another team that's lurking out there that we don't know about right now. And I think eventually he'll want to come back and play for the Steelers, but maybe the Steelers have other ideas and they'll do something else in between. And I don't think people thought Kyler Murray was going to get cut, Richie. I think the idea was he was going to get traded for. And now that he's available for such a low discount, cheap price, I think it's something the Steelers have to strongly consider.
The Cardinals probably realized that no one was going to trade for a guy that was making that much money, and he hasn't proved anything. So, what I was getting to, my follow-up question to the Aaron Rodgers thing, because I would be in favor of Kyler Murray. Plus, you can go out and get another player with the money that you would be saving. My second part of this question, though, is, it's been reported that there's two teams on his list. Do you think the Steelers are one of those two teams? Because it makes sense. They're the best team without a quarterback, right?
Well, the Vikings would be the other one with the J.J. McCarthy situation there. They won 9 games last year, which was one fewer than the Steelers. And they've got Justin Jefferson to throw the ball to. And you've got a great offensive coach. Even though Mike McCarthy's won a Super Bowl, Kevin O'Connell has been the offensive coach of the year more recently. And he helped get Sam Darnold back on his game in Minnesota and then, get the big contract in Seattle. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're number one. Number two, it depends. I mean, to me, the wild card team in all this is Atlanta. They've got Penix on a rookie deal, just like McCarthy, but he got hurt again last year, and he was hurt a lot in college. So if they, with Kevin Stefanski, they're going to cut Kirk Cousins. If they want to go in another direction, and it's so cheap, $1.3 million with Bijan Robinson there, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, might they try Kyler Murray on for size for a year? They might, and he might look at that as a more attractive destination too, Richie.
Yeah, two good options for sure. Don't forget about a Penn West University question of the night. Just scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. How many World Baseball Classic games will you watch? All of them, some of them, or none of them? Please log on to vote. All right, we're back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh, and this is our Xfinity Tweet of the Night, joined by Andrew Fillipponi here. How about this? Ben Fox tweeted this out. Pittsburgh Pirates over moved from 72.5 to 78.5 is the most bet MLB season win total by both total wagers and money at BetMGM Sportsbook. I know you and I probably talked about this a couple weeks ago on here. We were talking about good bets, and that was a good bet. And it seems like everyone around here, people that I know, were taking the over, Pony, when it was 72.5. Now it's 78.5. I don't know if it's that good of a bet. Who knows what this team can do? You're optimistic. I'm optimistic. I think they can win 82, 84 games, but you never know. Injuries happen. They might not be as good as they're showing in spring training, and we've seen what happened with the offense last year, but I do think they are a better team.
Yeah, I saw that at a bunch of different places today, the same stat, that everyone's betting on the Pirates, which scares me because usually the casinos win and the people that play there don't, but I love them too. I think that's an easy bet. I think it was a lot easier at 72.5 than it is at 78.5, but I still like him at 78.5.
Yeah, I do too.
I think the Pirates can win the division. I really think that that's not out of the question. I don't think that it's unattainable. I believe that Milwaukee has gotten worse. I think Cincinnati's gotten probably a little bit better. And I think the Cubs are pretty much even because they added Alex Bregman. They added Cabrera in their rotation from Miami, but they lost Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers. The Cardinals are going to stink. And the Cardinals stinking is good because that gives everybody in the division a punching bag. And that gives the Pirates a chance to score some wins, and I think allows them to add to that win total, that number. So my prediction is they're going to win 85 to 88 games, and I think that gives them a very good chance of winning the NL Central this year, which is an easier division to win than the NL West with the Dodgers, in the NL East where you have the Phillies, Braves, and Mets duking it out.
Yeah, I think you would need more than 88 to get a wild card, but 88 might win that division. All right, let's go out to Frank in Gilbert. How you doing? Gilbert, Arizona, by the way. Frank, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I had it turned on out here in Arizona. I'm from Jeanette, Pennsylvania originally, and heard you guys talking about Kyler Murray. There is no way I would want him as quarterback.
No way. Not even a chance. Bad organization.
Not as a quarterback.
Okay.
So he's a great athlete. Maybe a slot receiver for $1 million for a quarterback? No, you can't have him at quarterback. He's not an NFL quarterback. You should hear him talk. He wears a tossle hat when it's 110 degrees. All right,
Frank,
I'll let you guys talk about it. Thanks.
Frank, you bring up a good point. I mean, you could essentially sign Kyler Murray and Aaron Rodgers and maybe use him as a gadget quarterback. I know that probably wouldn't fly with Aaron Rodgers. I guess if you sign Kyler Murray, I doubt Aaron Rodgers is going to come here.
Yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray can pick where he wants to play for the league minimum. He's not going to go somewhere and be a slot receiver. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard.
He might go and play baseball, right? Is that an option?
I don't think he wants to ride buses. I mean, he never played in the minor leagues, or he hasn't in a while. So I don't know how he would just jump right in, having not played baseball in such a long time. I think he would need a lot of time to get acclimated again to live pitching. Maybe it is. I don't know. It doesn't sound like it is. It sounds like there are teams that want him, and he's got options here that he's going to look over before making a decision when he becomes a free agent next week. He has not had a good career relative to the amount of money he's been paid and where he's been drafted. That's obvious. I mean, I'm not going to stand up here and say that Kyler Murray has been God's gift to football in Arizona, but whoever called from Gilbert, Arizona needs to be reminded that the Cardinals are a joke of a franchise. And Sam Darnold left the Jets and won a Super Bowl this year. Guys have left the Cleveland Browns like Baker Mayfield, and they've been better for it. So I don't rule that out whatsoever, that a guy would leave a horse crap organization like that and become a better quarterback somewhere else, especially when he's got incentive to play well again, because he's going to want another big contract, and he's young enough where if he plays well, he will absolutely get another big contract in the NFL.
Me, I'm the kind of guy that would gamble on the upside. Plus for $1 million and some change.
It's not a gamble at $1.3 million.
No, it isn't.
Mason Rudolph makes triple that.
Yeah.
Okay. And Mark Cabali loves Mason Rudolph. So does Chris Adamski. I don't hate him. I think he's fine. But a lot of people think he's great. Kyler Murray in the NFL has been, and I don't say this lightly, and I like Mason. Kyler Murray has been about 50 times the quarterback that Mason Rudolph has been.
That's a bold statement,
That's inarguable.
Tony.
He's taken the Cardinals to the playoffs, not just because he had 3 good games, but because he had a good season. Okay, Mason Rudolph is a quality backup. This guy was the #1 overall pick in the draft and was good enough to play Major League Baseball and professional football.
Do you worry about his work ethic?
Mike McCarthy said he wants an athlete.
Yes,
of course I do.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, of course you do. I mean, they had to put a clause in his contract, no doubt. You do. But at $1 million, they drafted George Pickens in the 2nd round. You concerned about his work ethic? I mean, it's not like the Steelers have been allergic to guys that have questionable work ethics. They made a cottage industry out of drafting wide receivers who might have had questionable work ethics and questionable attitudes. It's $1.3 million. Your alternative is a guy that's going to turn 43 next season. All right, I'd rather have the guy with upside who's making no money.
I agree. Let's go out to Chris in Newcastle. How you doing, Chris?
Hello. I just have a question. Okay, so if they get Kyler Murray, are they going to give him a long-term deal, or is it going to be another 1-year deal, and next year they're going to be talking about the same thing?
Chris, I think it would be 100% a 1-year deal. They're not going to give him anything more. Cardinals are cutting the guy. I think this is just going to be a bridge to next year's draft, essentially.
If you bring Aaron Rodgers back, what is he? The same exact thing.
Same exact thing.
Except he's 42 years old, and all he can be is a bridge. This guy might be more than a bridge. He might be. He might not be. But at $1 million, you try it.
I agree.
I think you give it a shot.
Yeah, I do too. Tom, Uniontown, how you doing, Tom?
How you doing?
Good.
Hey, I just had a question on how can we even look to bring in a 43-year-old quarterback or any rookie quarterback starting without having an offensive line. Our whole offensive line on the left side is gone. Jones may not play this year. You got Samalu is gone. How do we not draft like the kid from Alabama, the left tackle from Alabama, with our number 1 pick? You remember when Ben came in and started, he had a line, he had guys in front of him to be successful, and we don't have that now. So how can we talk about receivers?
Well, that's not entirely true. I mean, Bennett had a great line when he won his first Super Bowl. He had one of the worst lines in NFL Super Bowl history when he won his second Super Bowl. Okay, they had Max Starks, no offense to Max. They had Chris Kemoyatu. They had Justin Hartwig. They had Darnell Stapleton, who only played 1 year in the NFL. And they had Willie Colon. Okay, that was about as mediocre as it gets with offensive line. So to say that Ben had this great offensive line, his rookie year he had Alan Faneca, and he had Jeff Hardings, 2 good players.
Yeah.
All right, he did not have a great offensive line a couple of years later when they won their second Super Bowl, and he was still a young quarterback. So that's just wrong, and I don't think their line's that bad. I think Frazier's pretty good. I think that Fautanu's an ascending player. I think you can play Spencer Anderson at left guard. Left tackle's a question. It's a big one. And I think drafting a left tackle in the first round should be something, Richie, that's in play if the right guy falls to them at 21.
Yeah, I agree. But it seems like you're drafting a tackle, a defensive tackle. I mean, you need a receiver. Whether that's free agency, they got to do something. But Dylan Cook maybe could be someone that you could plug in there for a little bit. It's going to be interesting. I think they're still going to go wide receiver or cornerback in the first round. We got to take a break. All right, welcome back, Pony. Last question here with free agency right around the corner. Is there any bigger names that you would target that did not get franchised? One of the running backs, maybe Alec Pierce, someone like that?
Well, I think Alec Pierce is going to get a lot of money. And the Steelers will have some flexibility, especially if they go cheap at quarterback. So, you know, I wouldn't mind at all if they kick the tires on that. I wouldn't expect it to happen, though.
Yeah.
I think they're going to sign another running back, too. I think someone's going to come in here to go with Jalen Warren and Caleb Johnson, and I'm not convinced it's going to be Kenneth Gainwell. I like Gainwell, but I think they might go with more of a power back to complement Jalen Warren, Richie.
All right, not ETN. I doubt Walker, too. They're going to price themselves out of the market, probably.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think either one, Richie.
All right, thanks a lot, Pony. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll see you guys on KDKA News right now.